What's going on, guys? This is your boy Dante with Dante's Boxing Nation. And let me tell you something right now. If you guys are looking for the best fragrance products in the world, you need to go to ashkicking.com. And don't forget to pick up the special edition DBN Senate candle for the Ward versus Kovalev fight. Limited time only.
Brothers and sisters, I don't know what this world is coming to.
Hey yo, check this out. This is Flavor Flav, and if you want the whole truth and nothing but the whole truth, so help the whole truth. Hey yo, you better listen to Dante, baby. Dante!
What's going on, y'all? And welcome to another great edition of the Dante's Boxing Nation show. I am your host, Dante. We got my man co-host in the building, my man Milton. What's going on, Milt?
Not much. What's good, Dante?
All right, and we got my man on the phone lines, my man Kirk Jackson, former fighter, and he's a contributor to the website boxinginsider.com. What's going on, Kirk?
What's going on, yo?
All right, man. Let's go ahead and get it in, man. Damn, Milt. Damn, Kirk. This weekend, man.
It was live.
Like I said, man, because I don't really watch a lot of football and basketball, so, you know, you guys... Y'all got the best of both worlds, probably. You and Kirk, probably. Y'all probably be watching all that stuff.
Oh,
but
yeah.
now I know how y'all be feeling, man, when you got all in basketball games in one day.
Oh, yeah.
All in football games. You could just switch from channel to channel, watching all them games. That's how I felt this weekend,
It
man.
did, bro. It did. I haven't seen boxing put on like this, man. 2017 has been the year. I mean, it is really bringing it back. It's doing well for the sport, man. It's been a great year so far.
Yeah, it's been an unbelievable year. And like you said, with the news of Golovkin versus Canelo, now that's added to this year.
Just keeps getting better and better.
It's the best year. At least it's the best year in, I would say, 15 years. Man.
Oh, no doubt.
I mean,
easily.
Competition-wise, all of that. So, guys, we're going to talk about all the fights that took place this weekend. And what I want to do, you know, we'll gather our thoughts, but I want to sum up who basically got, you know, fighter of the week. You know, who was the fighter of the week or fighter of this weekend? Right. Because it was a lot of great, you know, candidates. A lot of great candidates, man. Gervonta Tank Davis, Terence Crawford. Russell, Gary Russell, David Benavidez. But like I said,
what'd you say, Kurt?
Oh no, I was agreeing with you.
NOE, and a lot of people. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and start with that one. I don't know if a lot of people didn't see that. I just actually seen it this morning on Instagram. Hey, man. Milt, I see why your boy Roman Gonzalez is saying you're gonna have to give me a whole lot more money if I'm gonna fight that monster. Because matter of fact, that's his nickname, the Monster. And we was just looking at the highlights. The boy looked like a monster, man.
Man, I ain't seen anything that scary coming out of Japan since what was that? That Godzilla movie?
The other monster.
The other monster. Yeah, man. Dude is a beast. He really is.
Speed,
and power.
timing.
Yeah.
Look like he got a little slickness to him.
Yeah.
Power with the timing. Yeah, I mean, man. He looked really, really good, man.
He really did.
So, once again, you know, it's funny to me how it seems like fans, they kind of almost use a certain fighter, you know, for the politics purposes almost. You know, they give him all this credit, and then once he starts, you know, declining, then they slowly get off that bus.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And they like, let me get off. This bus about to break down. I ain't about to be stuck in the middle of nowhere. Man. Let me go ahead and slowly get off the bus. I'm gonna tell them I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
They getting off the Chocolatito bus, bro.
Yeah, they getting off the Roman bus, man.
They getting off the Roman bus.
You ain't hearing nothing about Roman no more.
Man.
You ain't hearing nothing about him no more after that last performance.
No, the rematch is coming up.
The rematch is coming, so that is official then.
It's official.
Okay,
it's official. Okay. God, man, I got to check that date. You know, I'm great with the dates, man. But I ran out of the house today. I didn't take my notes and didn't get my calendar down.
All good.
But I've already read that it's coming. I think that he'll fare better in the rematch. I really do. I think Dude had caught lightning in a bottle that night, and I think Roman wasn't ready. Man, them headbutts. I still can't get by with those headbutts though. I'm just hoping that the ref monitors that in the rematch. No, I'm not making any excuses. The guy came to fight. That guy really
Definitely
came to fight. Rengvisai. I can never pronounce his name right.
I ain't gonna even try to pronounce that one.
But he really came to fight. And I don't think that and he didn't wilt underneath Roman's shots like I think Roman thought he was going to. Dropped Roman early and got his respect. So I just think that he'll be a little bit better prepared in the rematch. And of course, sometimes, man, everybody got to think about it. That's Roman's 4th different weight class, and sometimes the power stops. A weight class below. Sometimes, man.
But see, that's exactly what separates a special fighter from an ordinary fighter to me, because of the fact that, once again, we see what you're really made of when you cannot just beat people with a natural power or size advantage.
True.
And now, once again, since we see Roman Gonzalez fighting these guys, and they can match his power. Now it's tougher for him. Now it's harder because they're not just rolling over when they get hit with his power now, right? So now now he's looking more ordinary. And to me, honestly, we kind of seen that, with them both being in the same stable, we kind of seen a little bit of that with Golovkin and Danny Jacobs too. He looked a little bit more mortal when he was fighting against a guy who had the same type of confidence he had, a guy who had power similar to his. Everybody talks about, but he was so much bigger and all. But what are you talking about? Golovkin has never moved up in weight. You know what I mean? He's never moved up in weight, so you can't sit over here and say, that guy was so much bigger. Try Ben Floyd or Manny Pacquiao. You know what I mean? Move up 5, 8 weight classes and fight a dude 15, 20 pounds bigger than you.
Like Roy Jones said last night, man, during the telecast, he was talking about Bud, and he was saying Bud is looking up. He was like, the great fighters, they look up. They don't look down. You're not looking down to fight smaller competition. So if Roman is really going to be still considered in that pound for pound and speaking in that, spoken in that same breath, then he really has to show something in this next fight, in this rematch. He really does. Yeah,
I totally agree. Hey, Kirk, so do you think, going back to NOE, once again, great performance, do you think Roman Gonzalez will even fight him if he were to get past the guy that just beat him? And do you think how do you think that fight will play out, Kirk?
I don't think he'll fight him, but if they were to fight, I think Gonzalez is knocked out.
Yeah. Ooh, wow. That's a. You know what? And I didn't even. I
don't doubt it either. Man.
I didn't think about a KO, but I got to be honest, Kirk. Since you said it, I got to agree with you, man. I have to agree with you, man. I mean, after what I've been seeing, once again, Roman no longer has that massive power size advantage over these fighters anymore.
And that's true.
Now he's just an an ordinary fighter, basically. At least that's what it looked like. But I do agree with you, Milton, that I think he'll do better in the rematch. If this guy, I ain't gonna try to say his name, but the Thailand fighter, if he tries to come forward, not moving his head like he did in the first fight, it'll be easy for Roman to adjust.
It will be.
Because if that dude would have been using just a little bit of head movement, he probably would have beat Roman easy.
Yeah.
But he kept coming in, walking straight down the line.
Yeah.
And he was letting Roman hit him with everything. He never moved his head. He just was like on some rock'em sock'em stuff.
I will say this too. I still think Roman won that fight.
It's possible.
I think Roman won that fight. I got to add that too. I think he did enough to pull that out. Dude got him early, but I think Roman closed the gap and finished strong. So I think he can take that into the fight with him too, that he was coming on. And I think he had taken everything that guy had, and that was pretty much it. So I think that what's you say, Kirk?
I was going to say the main problem I have with Roman is I kind of see, and we talked about it I think months ago with the Golovkin.
One second, Kirk. Just 1 second. 1 second for a second, man.
Okay.
Let me see if I can. Hey, Ron, man, we got you. We pre-recorded right now, but I got you on the show with us, bro, because you called in on the line right now, man. So What's going on, Ron?
Oh my gosh, wait a minute. I got you on my show, Coach Radio.
Are you serious? My man Ron Fitch right now, he's doing his show, and we're doing our show right now. So it's going down, man. It's going down. Triple talk.
I reached out to Shakur's people. Shakur's a kid, so he did want to do the interview at 9, but kids forget. So we're working on something during the week where I could get him for your show.
Okay.
Oh man,
I've been hustling out here, man. And I got to know Jonathan Maceo, and we got to talk, and I got his number, and I felt so sorry what happened to him yesterday.
You said who?
Maceo, a fighter who Beltran knocked out.
The one that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I interviewed him for you. And we got to be friends, and I got his number. I said, listen, after the fight, if you win, you can talk on DONTAE'S Boxing Nation. And he got knocked out so bad.
Oh, man.
Yeah. But we still want to hear from him.
Yeah. He can still do the show, man. I mean, once he's better, but it is unfortunate. I'm just glad that, it wasn't, serious damage for sure. He can still always do the show, man. You don't have to always get a sensational knockout or W just to do the show, man.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. And I'm gonna tell you something. Beltran was fighting. He's really fighting for his livelihood.
Yeah.
He's fighting for his green card.
Yeah. Wow. And you could tell he was fighting like he was hungry.
Yeah.
You could tell he was fighting like he was hungry.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And just to let you guys know, my man Ron Fitch, he's been covering boxing for a long time. He represents DBN. He's got his own radio show as he's doing right now. So, hey, Ron, and like I said, he covers fights for me on the East Coast, man, which I really appreciate. So, Ron, give them your information, man, so they could go ahead and follow you and check out your show and everything, Ron.
It's Coast to Coast Radio with Ron Fitch on SB Nation. Also on WBKS1.com. WBKS1.com is a hot station out here. They do a lot of hip-hop shows. They do news. They're nice enough to let me scream and holler about sports. I'm surprised I got credentials because I laid into HBO on one show about how biased they are and how Jim Lampley's biased and how Showtime does a much better job. And I guess they didn't know who I was, thank God. But I meant that. There were certain things. And me and you have kindred spirit. Because there's a lot of things I'll say, and then I look back at YouTube, I'm like, that's exactly how I feel, and that's exactly what I said.
And Ron, and it's not how we feel, it's the truth. I mean, it's how we feel, and it is the truth. That's why, they may not, like it, but, if I tell you it's going to rain, or a news reporter tell you it's going to rain this weekend, it don't matter if you like it or not, it's going to rain. You know what I mean? So if we telling the truth, we telling the truth, man.
Great minds think alike.
Absolutely, man. And that's what we need. We need more people like my man Ron Fitch and all of us, man. And even you guys who listen to the show, we need everyone to spread the word and speak the truth. Don't be afraid just because someone tries to scare you, into not telling the truth when it comes to putting this stuff out there. And more people are talking about, you have boxers now talking about how biased HBO Jim Lampley, the ringleader, is. So, I'm not going to back off of that, because it's supposed to be about the sport first. And too many people are making this personal.
Yeah.
They're making it too personal. You go back and you listen to old school blow-by-blow announcers, and you listen to Jim Lampley, you're like, what the hell is this? You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
They had no type of agenda or nothing like that, man.
And it's obvious when they,
I think it shifted after Oscar De La Hoya won the gold medal, and they saw that they had a cash cow, and the Latin community was really supporting him, and that was a community they could pimp, basically, and they kind of forgot the African-American community. And then here comes Mayweather coming out of nowhere, being his own man and being his own businessman, and that bothered a lot of people. So he didn't get the true credit he deserved. Even though they said he kept ducking all these guys, he's ducking Mo, he's ducking, and then he ends up beating everybody. Mm-hmm. And that bothered people that he ended up undefeated, and he wasn't the guy that they wanted to be undefeated. So they have to craft their own reality.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's exactly. And now it's like, that's why when Floyd Mayweather retired, they desperately scrambled to find someone, you know, that they actually like, you know, that fit their agenda to basically replace Floyd Mayweather. That's why they desperately like, oh, let's say Roman is pound for pound. You know, let's say Golovkin is pound for pound. Let's say Canelo is pound for pound. They wanted desperately to replace Floyd Mayweather with someone that they personally liked. They didn't care how good he was. They just wanted to get that aftertaste of Floyd Mayweather, you know, out, and that's pretty much.
Well, they got their guy now, Dante, and Lomachenko. Even though he only has 9 fights, I'm looking online and saying, is he the greatest ever? He's a very talented fighter, but this guy has 9 fights. He didn't, and there's one really good opponent he beat. He didn't beat Thurman and Porter and everybody. He doesn't have a long. He's just 9 fights and 1 good win. And I'm thinking, what am I missing, fellas?
Yeah, well,
man.
Well, once again, I mean, Loma. See this, and this is what I love about the whole truth. It forces ignorant people to contradict themselves, because what they love to say, and especially Jim Lampley, the main thing he loves to say is, you know, these fighters, certain fighters are boring and they're not getting knockouts. They just want to, you know, play it safe.
You know, the new term he's using is fan friendly.
Fan friendly.
He loves using that term, fan friendly.
Go the Gaddy list. The Gaddy list.
Oh, yeah, the Gaddy list.
Lomachenko would not be on the Gaddy list.
No, he wouldn't.
You know what I mean? Even though he's getting knockouts and stuff like that, but he doesn't get hit. And in fact, Jim Lampley and Max Kellerman, they bragged how this man, you know, he could fight underwater without getting wet. They literally used that reference. They said this man can fight underwater without getting wet. That's how elusive he is. But, you know, when it's a fight on a coincidental list that don't get hit, oh, you too afraid to get hit. Why you trying so hard not to get hit? Something you know about yourself we don't know?
The name of the game
is the hit.
Well, Dante, I want you to tell my audience what the coincidental list means.
Man, the coincidental list is pretty much as self-explanatory as it can be. It's basically a list of fighters that coincidentally all get treated the same way and coincidentally happen to all look the same. You know what I mean? If we being realistic here,
right.
I mean, once again, it's not a coincidence that it's the coincidental list, basically. That's what it comes down to. It's not a coincidence that every single fighter, they use these excuses that, you know, if a fighter is not getting knockouts and he's elusive like Lomachenko, oh, he's boring. Oh, I want to see blood and guts. I want to see him get hit. I want to see drama. I want to see knockouts. So when a person is too flawless like Mayweather, he's boring. But now, once again, they're forced to contradict themselves, because then when you have Deontay Wilder, when you have Gervonta Tank Davis, when you have Errol Spence, and they're getting the knockouts, and they're still not being treated like fighters on the hope list, which is obviously the opposite of the coincidental list, then we know that it's more, maybe it's not a coincidence that they all been treated like that. So that's what the coincidental list basically comes down to, man. You know, so.
And what, you know, I want to talk to you about, Dante. This is Dante from Dante's Boxing Nation. This is Ron Fitch from Coast to Coast Radio. What in the world happened with Andre Dirrell's uncle?
Oh, that was horrible, man. That was horrible. And go ahead, Milton. I got my man Milton on our line. You know, he works with me.
Hey,
man.
Hey, you know, I'm not sure if you're asking because you didn't see it or you letting the fans know. But what happened?
You saw it. Give an explanation.
Yeah. I mean, I think that he didn't know that he had apologized, and I think that because he had hit Andre earlier in the fight after the bell, and it was a hard shot right after the bell, and he got a hard warning from the ref, and then he turned around and did it again and knocked him out with it. I think the uncle didn't realize everything was cool between Uzcategui and Andre. They had already kissed and made up. But the thing is, Dante used the term to describe that as scandalous. That punch he hit Uzcategui with was scandalous, man. That was uncalled for. I'm not sure if I don't know if the cops found him, but I know that they had issued a warrant for his arrest for assault. which, I mean, it, you know, by all accounts, that's exactly what happened. And I know that the State Athletic Commission was reviewing Anthony's conduct when he was trying to enter the ring to get to his brother. You know, he pushed and shoved, and maybe he punched someone as well. I know he was at it with security as well. But the uncle, I think he took it way too far, man.
I mean, I'm telling you, man, me personally, man, I mean, and I got love for the Dirrells, man.
I do
you know
too.
what I mean? I got love for the Dirrells, and I had, just like I said, because we can look at this both ways. Just like I said, it was wrong, you know, for Us Katigi to catch Dirrell with a hellacious hook right after the bell. Forget that ridiculous stuff like, oh, it was only a couple seconds, or it was only, that's ridiculous. It ain't supposed to be no punches after the bell, because that's when Dirrell relaxed and he got caught. You know, so just like Us Katigi was wrong for doing that, you know, I gotta be real when I say this, man. That was cold-blooded what Dirrell's uncle did, because the way he did it, they were just talking, and it was like, you know, it looked like everybody was, you know, basically like, yeah, you know, it was a mistake, and everybody, you know, they was reconciling. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere,
but you know,
this dude like that.
The part that got to me the most, he didn't come up, square up on this man,
but that's my
cuss
point.
Him out. He eased over into it and stole that man.
We used to call that we call it dope fiending somebody back in the day.
We called it we stealing him.
Yeah,
he stole that cat.
Yeah, he stole on him.
He stole on him. Yeah, man, and it was like I'm like, come on, man,
it just was unnecessary. That's
I will give it to Us Katigi, man. He took that punch like a G.
Yeah, like
he stood in the pocket with it.
Yeah, like that woke him up. Right. He was actually over there daydreaming and like, you know, and that just woke him up. Like, oh, somebody want my attention, you know. But yeah, man.
He went to the hospital over that.
He did go to the hospital, because I heard after his adrenaline went down and everything, he was a little dazed or something like that. They did say something like that. But no, man, that's just uncalled for, man.
It was.
Because see, this is what now. See, I could almost understand, not even condoning it, but I can almost understand if maybe Anthony Dirrell didn't get the DQ win, and maybe they call it a no contest. Right. Maybe if there was no justice at all, and you know, Us Katigi, he was running around acting a fool. You know what I mean? He was like, oh, if he was in the ring like, oh, Dirrell, you bitch, you quit and all that, I could understand under that situation. But in this situation, Dirrell got everything that he deserved. He got the W. You know what I mean? He got the apology, which was really important to get, you know, from Us Katigi and his crew.
And the interim title.
I mean? Yeah, and he got the interim title.
Yeah.
So he got everything in his favor. That's like winning a lawsuit, being awarded $1 million. Right. And because somebody assaulted you, after you get the $1 million, you run over there and punch the dude, and now you get sued back.
I want to get my lick back.
Yeah. I mean, you already been awarded the money, man.
I could almost understand if Andre was unable to get up. If he had clocked him so hard, like
he in a stretcher or something.
Oh man, who was the knockout of the day yesterday?
The dude Ray Beltran knocked out.
Yeah, Beltran.
Masio. What's his name again? Masio or what's his name? Ron?
Maceo.
Yeah.
Got knocked out by Beltran. Beltran was hungry. You know, I interviewed Beltran when he was training, and I could tell he had a different motive. He was super fired up. I mean, he's fighting for his livelihood. Hit him with a good left hook. He told me, he said, Ron, I'm gonna press him. I'm gonna press him until I get the win. I said, okay. And then I talked to Maceo's trainer, and Maceo's trainer like, yeah, I know he's gonna press us, but we're gonna box the heck out of him and get the W. I said, okay. So I'm talking to both sides, and then Maceo was doing that. But he didn't have the power, so he couldn't keep Beltran off him.
Yeah,
so Beltran got him with his hook, and his head bounced off the canvas, and that's where the concussion came from.
Yeah, you're right. And see, if Andre had gone out like that, if they had to carry Andre out on the stretcher, you know, and he had gotten fouled, you know, I can understand them being upset. But the man got up, he went over, they've hugged, they've shook hands, and everything is cool, and then you go over and steal that man like that. That was man. Hey,
So.
I can understand. Like I said, like Chris Rock said a long time ago. I don't agree with it, but I understand.
Yeah. Exactly. And I guess they'll probably have a rematch now. It's definitely unfinished business.
Mm-hmm.
The fight was turning out to be a great fight. It was a good fight, man, and it's just unfortunate that it ended that way. So
it really was.
But yeah,
I want you guys' opinion on Terence Crawford. I thought he was terrific. At times he got hit a little bit, but he was boxing the dude so well. And I talked to him, and I said, listen, the sky's the limit, because you got Lomachenko, you got Broner, Giovanna, you got Easter, but then on the higher side, the higher weight side, you got Thurman and Porter and Brook. And I said, you're in the middle of a storm where you can find anybody. Say, yeah, I'm ready. Because you know his one-word answer. That's Terence Crawford. Yeah, I'm ready for anybody.
Yeah, the toughest interview. Yeah, Terence Crawford and them one-word answers. Man.
Yeah, he don't expound a lot.
But he gave you love when we were off camera. I just wanted to let you know, Doctor, he gave you love when he came in the gym, and I told him I was with you guys.
Oh, is that right?
That's what's up.
That's what's up, man. That's my man's, man. That's my man's. I appreciate that. We're going to definitely get him and his trainer. Shouts out to trainer Bo Mack. We got to get both of them on the show, man. So,
I'm not trying to ride or nothing like that, man, but I'm here to tell you, and I know a lot of people are still saying that Andre Ward, in many people's opinion, is pound for pound the best fighter in the world right now. But I'm here to tell you, man, the way he thoroughly trashed and thrashed Diaz last night, man, I'm telling you, because he made Diaz look so ordinary, man.
Yes, he did.
And
yes, he did.
I'm just, when you're an elite fighter, it's not necessarily that you get the W, but it's how you look getting it. Mm-hmm. And he was spectacular last night, man. Mm-hmm. He was getting caught early in the fight. I think he was trying to get timing down. But he was leaning straight back. But he made the adjustments. Mm-hmm. And the great ones can do that. They can make an adjustment, and they can make it to where they are out of harm's way, and they are tagging you anytime they get ready. Mm-hmm. And last night he proved to a lot of people, man, he is slowly inching up towards being the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world.
Well, they made some commentary regarding his hand speed last night, Max Kellerman and Jim Lampley, and I'm like, you know what? I don't think it's Terence Crawford's hand speed or his foot speed or what. I think it's his timing.
His timing, and impeccable timing.
And as you mentioned earlier, he adjusts. Like, he reminds me of Mayweather in the sense that if you don't knock him out in the first couple of rounds, it's over.
It's
over. You figured out, and it's
I swear, Kirk, I was thinking the exact same thing, bro, but I didn't want to get caught up. People saying I'm being, hyperbolic and giving the man too much hype and just, a lot of people. So I'm trying to be cautious, but he really did. The way he adjusted, the way he felt him out for the first 3-4 rounds, and then it was just take over time, just nothing you can do with him. And he gonna do anything he want with you, the same way Mayweather used to do, making adjustments. But I didn't want to go there with it because I know a lot of people. Oh man, there you go, comparing him to Mayweather. But
it's an accurate comparison. The major difference I do see is with Crawford, and I like this about him. He wants to beat you. He really wants to punish you, and he takes
great pride,
pleasure in doing it.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. And I hate when they always try to interpret, slickness or intelligence or timing for just speed. They do that all the time. HBO, they do it all the time. Somebody got perfect time and they ain't even got to be fast. Like, look at how quick he is. Oh, it's just the speed. That's the only thing he has over these fighters is the speed. No, that's Floyd Mayweather said it perfectly. Floyd Mayweather said you could be faster than me, stronger than me, taller than me, quicker than me, but I'm going to be smarter than you at the end of the day.
You just hit the nail right on the head, brother.
Yeah.
That's one thing that they always discount. Intelligence.
I talked to some of the Showtime executives and the Showtime broadcasters off camera, and they say the exact same thing about HBO. I mean, they don't want me to quote them verbatim, but off camera, a lot of the broadcasters say the exact same thing you guys say.
Yeah. And I've heard folks from Showtime say the exact same thing too. They were, talking with, with Jim Lampley is like, it seems as though they are there only to hype up an HBO fighter.
Yeah, man.
They have an agenda, and it's obvious.
The Fox News of boxing, man. Like I said, man, I talked to Al Bernstein, and it's such an accuracy. It's such an accurate way to break it down. And describe them.
Right.
But I talked to Al,
biased.
Yeah, man. And once again, I truly feel that Jim Lampley in particular. Because there used to be a time when Jim wasn't biased, man. He used to be extremely impartial.
It's like they start pushing an agenda.
Yeah, 10, I would say about over 10 years ago. He was very impartial, and it was Larry Merchant that used to just be on his Bill O'Reilly, Fox, all kind of stuff, right? And I remember it used to be Jim who used to straighten him out.
Right.
And be like, he would kind of say in certain words, the translation would be, "You're doing too much, Larry. Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back to professionalism," right? And I think what happened with Jim is after a couple years, he starts saying, you know what, let me just try to throw a little out there just to see how people take it. And then he noticed it's like stealing, you steal a little bit and don't nobody notice. You working for somebody, you know what I mean? You stealing a little bit of money. Oh, they don't notice that money is missing yet.
Right.
So right now, Jim Lampley, at that time, he started doing a little bit. And it started coming out slowly. He's like, let me see if anybody will trip. Well, anybody start calling me biased. Nobody said anything. So he said, okay, let me get out there just a little bit more.
A little bit more, man.
No, and he said, damn, they still ain't said nothing. Then all of a sudden, booyah, he came out full blown. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
He was like, damn, I got the Gaddy list. Damn the pound for pound list. I don't give a damn about them, and this dude is boring, and this and that, and now he's like, man,
he went full, full on, right?
He went full blown, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is, and it's unfortunate, but that's exactly what happened.
Yeah,
man. That's exactly what happened.
Floyd left, and they've been trying to fill that void.
I have to let you go, Coast to Coast Radio, because I have to talk about the other boring sports, because I do a sports show that covers all these other ridiculously boring playoffs. You guys are exciting. This is exciting boxing talk. So I'm going to let you guys go. It has been a lot of fun talking with you guys.
Pleasure all mine, brother. Pleasure's all mine.
Pleasure to be on your show,
Thank
brother.
You very much.
So I'll catch up with you. Take care of your business. All right, Ron?
Okay.
All right, man. All right, guys. So that was my man Ron Fitch. Like I said, he covers fights for me out there on the East Coast, man. He's been covering boxing for a very, very long time. Like I think about almost 20 years, man. So he's a cool cat, man. But yeah, man. Before we run out of time, man, let's talk about all these fights. I know we bouncing all over the place, man. But before we get into the big ones, shouts out to David Benavidez. He stops Porky Medina in the 8th round. We already know how tough Porky Medina is.
Yes.
He knocked out Jalen Love. Had a very competitive fight with Badu Jack, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And now David Benavidez, not only does he win this fight, but he puts himself in position to fight for the WBC title now. And it's vacant. Because I was like, wait a minute, who's the champ at WBC? It's vacant.
Yeah.
So
because what's his name moved up to
Ward. Was it Ward?
No.
It
was
Badu.
Yeah, Badu moved up.
Yeah. So that makes more sense. But yeah, man. So now he's going to be fighting for a title. Shouts out to Caleb Plant. He called him out. Caleb Plant, he called him out. Interview with me, and I thought that was big time, man.
That was big time.
You gotta love that, man. When young lions are calling out other undefeated lions.
Yeah, man.
Can you imagine Caleb Plant versus David Benavidez? Oh,
that'd
man,
be a nice fight. That'd be a nice one.
Hey, Kirk, that would be a good one right there, man. That would be a real good one, man. So hopefully, it'll be. I don't know who he's going to end up probably fighting for that vacant belt, but you got Andre Dirrell, Anthony Dirrell.
Anthony, yeah,
both of them are ranked by the WBC too. I think Anthony is ranked higher. Anthony is ranked like number 3 or something like that.
Right.
So it'll be interesting. So congratulations to David Benavidez and your boy Rancis Bartholomew, Milt. Your boy Rancis Bartholomew.
Hey, Kurt, we were talking about it behind the scenes. I want to see where you at with it, man. Did you see that fight?
I did. He looked like Trunks from Dragon Ball Z.
he said what? What did he say?
He looked like Trunks from Dragon Ball Z.
Oh,
with
man.
the what color hair was that?
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know
the dope blue
was that
hair.
a periwinkle?
Blue Dragon. That's my man. Hey, but I got to be a little, I got to be a little partisan on this one, man, because Rancis, that's my boy, man. So
Yeah.
I'ma still say congratulations. He done been down with me since day one. Did the radio show with us, like, when we first started doing the show, came to the studio, man. So I got love for him, but
Dante,
we have to state the
hey
obvious.
man,
Go ahead, man.
I gotta say it, man. I gotta say it. It's some cashiers at some liquor stores right now. Like, man, that was a robbery. There's been liquor stores that ain't been robbed that bad, man. That cat, man, let me tell you, and then whatever judge that was that scored that fight, 117-109.
Oh, that was uncalled for.
Man, kill yourself. That was
uncalled for.
Ridiculous, man.
That was
God,
uncalled for.
man.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, man. And Relikh, man, Relikh was doing his thing. He even though I will say this, this is my issue. I hate to get off the topic. This is my issue with punch stats. Yesterday, Relikh was hitting him with more shots, and he accumulated more punches, but some of it was just pity-pat trying to get his timing down and set up shots. So it wasn't that he was. When you see those large numbers, that huge disparity in numbers on the punch stats, that really doesn't tell the whole story.
Yeah.
But I digress.
Not all the time.
It doesn't always tell the story. And so I digress, man. But I will say this. I think that as much as I like Bartholomew, man, I think he lost that fight, bro. I think that they cheated that man, and that was horrible. That was horrible. Yeah. I hate when boxers go out there and put it all out there like that. And what makes it so suspicious is when you see a scorecard that is 117-109. I can understand if they say, "Oh man, we give it was close and it's majority draw," or I don't care what it is, man. But 117-109, that judge, I don't know what fight he was watching in favor of Bartholomew. At first I thought they read the wrong name, and I kind of saw Bartholomew kind of run out of the ring real fast. Like he really had stolen some money out of a liquor store, and I'm like, maybe they gonna go back and look at that again. But it was what it was, man. But I just did not think that. I mean, Kirk, how did you see it?
I thought Bartholomew. I thought he lost. I mean,
yeah, man.
He showed flashes where
he did.
He showed what makes him unique, his counterpunching ability, and he went to the body well, and he finished strong.
He finished strong. I give him that.
Yeah. I just wish he would have I wish he'd have been more active earlier on in the fight and been more assertive earlier on. And I think Paulie Malignaggi brought up the point. He was setting up singular one-punch knockout shots, and he's not a one-punch knockout fighter.
Right. Yeah. True. And did you think that was a knockdown, man, when he grabbed in the first round? I think it was the first or second round. He grabbed and pulled my man down to the canvas with him. I thought that dude hit him, and Bartholomew was on his way down, and he grabbed him, and they rolled to the canvas together. But I think that was a knockdown. I think he caught Bartholomew with a hard shot. Just me. Yeah, I thought that was what happened in the beginning of the fight.
And I wonder too. Was Rancis was he rusty or
Could have been.
Is he slowing down or was it just all Relikh because he got caught, he got knocked down with a vicious knockdown. I think that's the first time Rancis got knocked down. That was a vicious, what was it, a hook that he got caught with?
And it was and it was kind of a controversial, if I'm not mistaken, because I think the ref determined that the ropes held him up.
Mm-hmm.
And in my opinion, they did too, because he fell completely back into the ropes. I mean, if the ropes weren't there, he would have been, on press row. Mm-hmm. He would have been in somebody's lap. Yeah. So I do agree that the ropes did hold him up. Some people thought that he might have been giving him whenever you see a ref do that, some people think that the ref is giving him a standing 8, but that wasn't the case. I think the ref, I think in this instance, even the people calling the fight, Paulie and Al and my man were saying that
Ronaldo.
Yeah, they didn't think that it was there was an actual knockdown, or that the ref call that too quickly. But I think it was perfect. I think it was good timing.
Yeah.
I just don't think that they could see it from their angle.
Yeah. Well, all I know is he's fighting at 140. Once again, Rancis is my boy, but Terence Crawford, man, that's a steep mountain right there.
Let me tell you.
I think Rancis, from last time I interviewed Rancis, I think he does have respect for Terence Crawford, because I remember when I talked to him about possibly fighting Crawford, one of the first things he said, which stood out, is he's like, man, I'm honored that people even put my name in there with Terence Crawford.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So that shows that he definitely, Rancis is a good fighter, and skill, recognized skill. He knows how special Terence is. And just going back to Terence real quick, since we're talking about this, like you said, man, this shows you how special Terence is when you think about the fact Felix Diaz possibly beat Lamont Peterson, looked great against Sammy Vasquez.
Yep.
Never got discouraged, never got deterred.
Nope.
This man, Terence Crawford, took his will away.
He did.
Like you said, he made it look like he was in there with a dude who had like 6 or 8 losses.
Oh, man. In that ninth round.
Oh, man. He was done.
He was done.
He literally looked. I mean, he just stopped punching.
I don't know why Joel sent him back out there for the 10th. I don't even know why.
Well, Joel did say, I'm going to give you one more round. He did say that, though. He did say that. Go aid, Kirk.
He made him look like a D-level fighter.
Yes.
He did. Yes. He lumped him up. I mean, what did he say? It's 3 things I've never seen. A UFO, a woman I can't have, and a man at 140 pounds that can beat Terence Crawford. I have yet to see those things, and I don't know if they, I don't know if it exists. Yeah. And so
not at 140.
Not at 140. But at the end of the fight, the call out. We got to discuss it.
I was just as soon as you said that, that's what we was all thinking about.
Man.
I think we was all thinking about that. So he called out. Go ahead.
At 147 pounds, is there someone that can beat Terence Crawford?
Listen, man.
Yeah.
I might go out on a limb and say this, man. Okay, first of all, to get you guys caught up, just in case you guys missed it, Terence Crawford, he called out Keith Thurman. He said he wants Ndongo maybe. He said he really wants Manny Pacquiao.
He wants the Pacquiao fight.
We know Manny Pacquiao is trying to avoid that. Now, Pacquiao's own trainer, Freddie Roach, he said we're going to have to see him eventually.
Right.
Because Freddie said that, according to Bob Arum, Bob called up Freddie and like, hey, you guys, he basically said, I'm paraphrasing, but he basically said, you guys are going to have to fight this guy eventually. It might as well be better now than later, sooner than later. This is what Freddie Roach relayed, when it came to what basically what Bob Arum said to him. So with that being said, I don't know. It's still hard for me to believe. I mean, Manny Pacquiao, he's always basically played follow the leader when it comes to Bob Arum.
Yeah.
But I think there's always been a couple of fighters where even Manny Pacquiao said, hold up on some different strokes. What you talking about, Bob Arum? You know what I'm saying? On some Gary Coleman type stuff. I think he said that because that fight was in motion. I talked to all the top-ranked guys. Before we talk about Keith Thurman, I might as well, I talked to all the top-ranked guys. I don't want to mention his name, but one of the very, very, significant people, in the roster of Top Rank Stable, he told me, he said when we were there covering the what's the Russian boy's name that Terence Crawford just beat? Postal. When he beat, or Ukraine, whatever, but when he beat Postal, we were there ringside, and the guy told us if he beats Postal, Pacquiao is next. That's what he said. And I said to him, you sure Pacquiao gonna take that fight? He said, oh yeah, we offer him enough money, he will. That's what he said to me. So that just goes to show you.
Let me tell you, man. Pacquiao is on the 40 side of 35, right? He's been through some tough fights. He's been through some wars. I think he recognizes that right now the time for wars is behind him. And I don't think that that's a war he wants to wage. I think he sees some fighters out there where he can make some money. Mm-hmm. He can still stay in the game and stay relevant.
Keep that money flowing. Just keep the money flowing.
He got a title. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if all of you all are aware, but once you have a title, sometimes those governing bodies can sometime, put mandatories that shouldn't be on the list, put them at number 1 or 2. And so you're fighting a 1 or 2 mandatory that, that they drug up. That's probably ranked number, it should be ranked number, 50 in the world or something. But there's a way that he can stay around and stay relevant, and make money and not have to go and wage war. And if he does fight Terence Crawford, I think that will be probably something like his last fight.
Or a suicide mission.
Suicide mission. We cashing out. We cashing out, baby. We got all the chips. We gonna sell up our tips. We gonna get as much money as we can, and we gonna push it all into the middle of the table, and we gonna try to cash out. And and that'll be a cash out.
And that makes sense, Milt. That actually makes sense right there. If he says, you know what, if I'm gonna fight this dude, why don't I just make this my last fight?
Yeah.
Get as much money out of it as I can. But what's so ironic about us saying that is that's exactly what Freddie Roach said, that was the plan for Pacquiao to do with Mayweather. He said that he said in an interview that I did with him, he said, I truly believe that Bob Arum wanted to make Pacquiao. He wanted to make Mayweather Pacquiao's last fight. That's what he said in an interview, and this was before they fought.
To me,
this was before they fought.
But see, this is the thing. He probably should have. That should have been his last fight.
Yeah,
should have went out on that one. But
he has too much pride, though.
He got too much pride. Didn't want to go out on loss. Yeah. And then also, he's making money for his people in the Philippines. This keeps him, got some cash flow coming in. He can take care of a few more people. So I commend him on that too.
Yeah, it's
so
smart move.
It's smart. He's doing business stuff right now, and I'm not really mad at him because I'm thinking about all of the good fights Pacquiao has given me back in the day.
Yeah, no doubt.
Even though I think he lost 3 times to Marquez, but anyway, I really and truly, think that once you get to a certain age, man, and you put all you put into it, like I'll give you an example. Was it last weekend, James Toney?
Yeah.
James Toney fought for
like 45 or something like that.
48.
He retired 10 years ago.
Yeah, I know, man. I know. And it's like, come on, man. At some point, it's like you are a legend. You are a Hall of Famer. You are, man, you are a benchmark. You are who people emulate in the ring. People try to do the stuff you used to do and can't do it. It's like you've proven everything, man. But sometimes I know fighters have to prove it to themselves, and they get caught up.
This is why they need some type of 401k for these fighters, man. Some type of plan, man.
I was talking to my man Seals the other day.
We know Manny doesn't have that with with what's been going on with his finances.
I know, man. Unfortunately, and then this is the thing. I was talking to my man Seals the other day. I'm sorry, Kirk, but I was talking to my man Seals. I was like, man, they probably need to have a seniors tour, like they do with golf. Once you get to a certain age, man, and golf is like, you know what I'm saying? Who can't play golf?
Yeah, exactly.
But they still don't have 50 and 60-year-old dudes playing with 20-year-old dudes.
Actually,
you know what I'm saying?
Actually, they did. Arnold Palmer. I think he was one, and the other dude, Jack. What was the name?
Jack Nicklaus.
Jack Nicklaus.
Yeah,
he played because, like you said, with golf, you can actually do that though. You can be 100 years old.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying.
And you can't, like you said, not.
But getting hit in the face.
Yeah,
it's a totally
I got you.
Story.
I got you.
So I'm like, man, there probably should be like a 40 and over league or 35 and over. Once you get 37. Hey, let it go, man.
They just need to be compensated to where they can comfortably retire, though.
Yeah, that's true.
It's unfortunate that it's such a, it's such a dog sport.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I was just joking, people. I'm just kidding. I'm not. That's a little tongue in cheek. I'm not necessarily advocating that people 40 and over should only fight people 40 and over.
Yeah.
I'm just joking. But with somebody, listen to this.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, "Hey, what about Bernard Hopkins, you bastard?"
And they always want to go with the exception and not the rule. Bernard Hopkins, Floyd, George Foreman. You don't see too many 40-year-old men going out there and competing at that high of a level, man.
No, you
don't. Most of them live hard and fast. Fighters. More of them live like AB than they do closer to AB than they do to Floyd.
Well, of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Or a lot of them live more like David Benavidez,
I know.
or Gary Russell Jr. You know what I mean?
You know, the women and the money.
It takes a while to reach that level. Is the point I'm making?
Right, and a lot of them don't preserve their bodies and take care of their bodies the way that they're supposed to. And by the time they hit 30, 35, that's usually the magic number. It's usually a gradual decline after age 35, but sometimes it's a fall off the cliff.
Yeah,
it's a sheer drop off.
Yeah, because if you look at the legends, Sugar Ray Leonard, Muhammad Ali, they were done.
They were done
before 35.
They
way
lived
before
hard
35,
and fast.
Because you can't include when they tried to make comebacks. They were already done.
They were done.
Leonard was done around 31, 32.
Yep.
So man, they need some type of 401k.
401k.
They need some type of plan.
Some mutual
that.
funds.
Yeah. They need a backup plan.
Diversify your bonds.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, like Wu-Tang.
Yeah, man. So that's
to Manny Pacquiao though. But if he fights Crawford, his career is over.
Yeah.
Like I said, man, that's that cash out fight.
Yeah. Because I thought, because I used to think maybe before it was a 50-50 fight, But now the more I see Terence Crawford, the more, I feel Freddie Roach, he's saying the same thing. I feel he's saying the same thing we're saying right now. But you even said Manny Pacquiao's probably even saying that. He understands.
He understands.
Yeah,
man.
he understands. And if your own trainer is saying to you, that dude is like Mayweather with power, because that's what Freddie Roach said,
Right.
Which so it's not a far stretch when we say, like Kirk just said, when we comparing him to Floyd Mayweather, it's not that much of a stretch.
It's not that much.
Even
of a
Freddie
stretch.
Roach is comparing him to Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, man.
So that tells you everything. Yeah. He's too small, and once again, like you said, once that motor gets warmed up with Terence Crawford, it's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
It take about 3 rounds to warm up the motor.
But I will say this: Floyd started slow. Floyd would start slow. He would take rounds 2, 3.
But I think I got to be honest. I think he was in a little bit better control than Terence in the first rounds, though.
Yeah, Terence is a little more reckless.
Oh,
yeah. Well, reckless is the key word.
Floyd also, he's naturally faster, has better reflexes than Terence, has better timing, smarter, better defensively. Even if it's slightly in each category, I think he still holds all those advantages. So I mean, it's like Crawford's like Floyd light. Floyd.
You calling him the great value? I won't say he's great value, Floyd. He's not like the Walmart brand. You know what I'm saying? He is a name brand. But it's just Floyd.
Well,
but it's Floyd.
It's Floyd.
It's Floyd.
Floyd is in a league of his own.
He is.
Is the best way to put it.
And I want to make sure I dispel the thing with me with Floyd. A lot of people were thinking that I don't like Floyd. Floyd is one of my top fighters of all time, man. I'm still not. I still say he's not my number 1 fighter, but Floyd is. I'm battling between 2 and 3 with Floyd. But I will say
which is fair.
But I say this: I saw something last night that Floyd, what Terence Crawford was doing last night, and breaking that man down and making him want to quit. I have seen Floyd do that to people. And I have seen him just demolish fighters, man. Mainly when he was at his lighter weight classes, but I have seen him do that. And then it was at some point, Floyd knew that he could do that at any time, and it was like, I was thinking about it. There was a baseball player, Joe DiMaggio, and somebody asked him, hey, man, why do you play so hard all the time, man? He was like, there may be a kid that just came to the game, spent his last dollar. This is the first time he ever got to see me play. And I want him to walk out of here thinking that I'm the greatest that he's ever seen. I will say this, man. I don't think Floyd fought as hard as he could every time he went into the ring. And I know he didn't have to. He didn't have to.
I would.
And it was like nobody was pushing him to do it, or nobody could bring it out of him. But it's like I just never saw it. And that's my knock against him for not putting him at my number 1. And I put it like that.
And once again, we have to compare him to other fighters, and that's
true.
And that's where it gets difficult, because
it's hard comparing him to Floyd against Floyd.
Because once again, if a fighter moves up 5 weight classes and he's fighting against a guy who's 15, 20 pounds bigger than him, how safe do we know they're going to fight? I mean, look at Golovkin against Lemieux. You see, he was fighting a safety. He was fighting a safety first fight in that fight.
He was,
and he wasn't even fighting against a dude who was 5 divisions bigger than him, 20 pounds, and he still fought a safety first fight.
He did.
De La Hoya, his first power puncher who was a huge threat. The biggest threat he ever faced was Trinidad. He fought a safety first fight. Sugar Ray Robinson, when he moved up to light heavyweight, he fought a safety first fight. You know, he moved around the ring, shoe shine through his flurries, moved around the ring. That was the fight where he would have won the title, but he damn near had a heat stroke and, you know, he couldn't finish. So my point is, once again, in every sport, you have to have a plan B. You know, if you can't fucking throw the ball, you got to be able to run the ball. You know what I mean?
True.
And that's basically what it comes down to when you really think about it. Yeah. Everyone plays it safe if they feel, you know, if for example, if you see a dangerous ass neighborhood and you're trying to get to a certain city, you got an option to go around that neighborhood or drive straight through it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You got to have options.
You got to, yeah, man.
I understand that,
So,
and I know what you're saying.
So putting your seatbelt on don't necessarily mean, you know, you're not balls to the wall. You know
I know, but and it's true. But it's hard for me to compare him to other fighters.
But if you look at all their fights, I'm sure, Milt, and I ain't gonna say I watched all 1,000 fights of Sugar Ray Robinson,
no.
But I already named one of them where he was safe. But if you watch all of these other fighters we comparing to Floyd, I'm sure there was one fight, unless they were one-dimensional like Jake LaMotta or something like that. But
right.
I'm sure there was one fight where they'd be like, let me be careful. Even when you watch the Roberto Duran movie, you notice that one of the first things, and I peeped that early in the movie when he was a kid. Roberto Duran, you remember his trainer?
Yeah.
The brother, you know, from Panama, he was like, look, man, you know, certain guys you got to box. You know, you got to box, you got to do this, you got to do that. And even Duran, when he fought against Marvin Hagler, he boxed.
True.
You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, almost every fighter, if you dig deep enough, I've even seen Julio Cesar Chavez, you know, in there bouncing around and trying to box, you know?
I know, man. I know.
It's everybody, bro. It's everybody.
I tell you this, though. If he'd have just went in there and taken out Pacquiao, it would have sealed the deal for me. It would have sealed the deal. I wouldn't have
Those are style points, man. Those are style points.
But I still can't forget Ron 10. He came out, man. He hit that man in the neck with a straight right. I think it was, man. And
Kirk, do you see it that way? Do you see it that way? You feel that, you know, Floyd Mayweather, he actually had Manny Pacquiao where he wanted to, and he could have knocked him out, but he took his foot off the gas, or what?
So I remember that round. And I saw him kind of put the pressure on. I'm like, okay, he's gonna try and get a knockout. But I think the way Manny responded, showing that he's still a live body, was like Floyd was like, all right, let me be cool. Let me just make sure I win.
That's my point. That's my point. Like I said in the last show, there was and I don't remember what round this was, but I remember, because this is how I always envisioned this fight to play out. Eventually, Floyd is gonna go into a high guard, and he's going to walk down Pacquiao and possibly stop him. I've always thought that that's how the fight would play out.
Yeah.
But like I said, it was one round where he came in with the high guard. It was around 7, 8, 9, around there somewhere. And soon as he put his hands up, Pacquiao shot off like a 6-punch combination, and some of them punches got in. And then once he did that, Floyd went back into regular box mode.
Right.
And just like Kirk said, it's like he said, okay, you know, that plan is not going to work right now. He's not ready for that right now. And because I thought he was going to try to implement what Clottey did, you know,
right?
You know, which is, because that's Clottey's style: high guard, walk through all your punches, walk you down.
Right.
But styles make fights, man, and you know, Pacquiao reacted differently, you know, so.
And I don't even know how we got all the way over here, man.
No, it's boxing, man.
It's boxing.
And you can't talk you can't talk basketball for 2 hours without probably dropping Kobe or Jordan's name. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So that's just what it is, man.
Yeah.
But
back to Terence. I'm sorry, I was going to say back to Terence Crawford. I like what he did last night in his interview, how he called out the names he wants to fight. I think fighters should do that more often, like we did in the old days.
Yes.
Like, not stop being a bitch. Like, say who you want to fight. We know promoters, you know, they make moves behind the scenes. It's all about politics, but at least put it out there. You want to fight fighter A. If I can't get fighter A, let me get fighter B. If I can't get fighter B, let me get fighter C. You know, put it out there. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I
And
agree.
I don't like how Bob Arum, I don't know if you guys heard his interviews. Fight Hype did some interviews with Bob Arum after that fight, and he was kind of just underplaying and like disrespecting Terence Crawford and Rigondeaux.
I heard
afterwards.
I didn't watch the interview, but I heard
No,
I heard he was up. Was he upset that Terence called out Keith Thurman? Is that what it was?
Yeah, and he was trying to say, well, anyone can call out Keith Thurman when he just went into surgery and
Yeah.
has.
Shout out to Keith
wow.
Thurman.
See, let me. Oh, and see, I hate when people talk like. I mean, first of all, you can't just automatically make an assertion, that Terence Crawford, he's calling this guy out really because Keith Thurman is not available, and all that kind of stuff. And really, Terence Crawford is afraid, but he's just going to use his name. He ain't never mentioned welterweights before. All of a sudden, the first time he mentions Keith Thurman, which, remember, Mikey Garcia mentioned him as well.
Right.
So clearly they're seeing something, and they're saying, I could probably beat this guy. He's bigger, whatever, but I'm seeing some things in the Danny Garcia fight. But this is my thing. People are making it seem like Keith Thurman just said, I'm going to be out for 2 years. The man just said, I'll be back the end of this year.
Yeah, the end of this year. He said 6 months or something like that.
We damn near in the middle of the year right now. We in May right now.
Yep.
So he was already, if anything, if it wasn't for the injury, maybe he would have came back 2 months earlier.
Right.
But they're trying to make it seem like he waited for this man to retire and say, I'll fight you now.
I know, right?
Where you at, Keith Thurman? I'll fight you now. Now that this man then got paralyzed and lost both of his legs, you talking about, I would have fought him. That's not the case, though, right? You feel me? You feel what I'm saying, though,
I feel
Milt,
exactly
right?
what you're saying.
It's ridiculous to assume that Terence Crawford is just fucking playing games, by calling out people that he really doesn't want to fight.
But I'll ask
it doesn't make sense to me.
It does not make sense. But I will say there's one name he mentioned last night. Do you really think he's going to fight Bud? And that's Ndongo.
Yeah.
Do you think he's going to make that?
Why not? Why wouldn't he?
I don't think Ndongo has a chance.
Already. Okay, but okay. You made it sound like you didn't think Terence would fight him. Like Terence didn't want to fight him. I was about to say
no. I really don't think Ndongo wants that work. I think they'll.
Well, no, he showed up to the fight.
He showed up. I give it to him.
You gotta want it. I mean, that's like Leo Santa Cruz showing up to a Guillermo Rigondeaux fight.
I will say this. I remember Sugar Ray Leonard showed up to a Hagler fight.
That was when he announced his retirement, though, wasn't it? Wasn't that when he announced his retirement?
Yeah.
He did that to be funny, though.
I know.
He did that to really.
I put like this though. I don't know. I think Ndongo maybe saw something last night because I saw Ndongo, was it last month when oh God, man, who was that he beat, man? The British cat.
No, I missed that fight.
I watched it. Huh?
It was Burns, Ricky Burns.
And he beat Burns, and it was a one-sided fight. I will say that. But the punishment that Crawford put on Diaz looks so much worse, man.
Of course.
Than what Ndongo gave Burns.
I mean, like you said, there's nobody that's going to beat Terence Crawford. If you could do that,
140.
If you could do that to Felix Diaz, man, Felix Diaz is a good ass fighter.
He is.
If you could do that to Felix Diaz, man,
yeah, I know, man.
I mean, nobody is beating him at 140. And quite frankly, I'm gonna go ahead and say it, man. I think that he would have an edge. Keith Thurman's my boy. Keith Thurman's my boy, man.
Tell the truth and shame the devil.
But
tell the truth, shame the devil.
I think Terence Crawford would have an edge over Keith Thurman.
And I give him that same edge.
I mean, and this is nothing personal against Keith.
No.
I mean,
the Terminators, they coming.
Yeah. If I told you, and I like to put myself, if I told you I was fighting Mike Tyson next week, I wouldn't take it personal if you say Mike Tyson is going to beat my ass. Right. You know what I mean? So it's not. My point is, it's not personal.
No,
it's not personal.
Right.
Because people take this stuff too personal, man.
They do.
But Terence Crawford, man, I would give him the edge. What do you think about that, Milt?
I just think that he is I think he's a more gifted fighter. I think that Keith is extremely gifted. He's talented. I don't know, since he's really stepped up in the competition, I haven't seen that power. I haven't seen the power from Keith Thurman that he had on the way up, and so I really don't think that he, I think he'd be very cautious against Bud, and I just see, Bud picking him apart. I really do.
Good point. I didn't even get into breaking it down. That's an actually good point. Yeah, if he was cautious against Danny Garcia after the first couple rounds, I can imagine how cautious he would be against someone like a Terence Crawford. But at the same time, Terence would probably be a little cautious with him too, but I think he would make wiser choices in the ring, though.
And like Kirk said earlier, you made a point, Kirk, earlier where you said if you're gonna catch Bud, you got to catch him early. And he jumped and the way one time jumped out on Danny early in the fight, he would definitely have to do that with Bud and try to catch him early.
That's a good.
And if he didn't, and if he does not catch Bud early, then I think he's coasting to 12 rounds if he don't drop him. And I've never seen Thurman drop that. I think he can take a punch. He was, in there with Porter. Porter hit him with some pretty good shots. So I don't think he stops. It's possible, but I don't think he stops Keith Thurman. But I think he beat him in a 12-round fight.
But the way Thurman does throw those hooks, it is dangerous, trading with him.
It is.
Because there were some moments earlier on in that Diaz fight where I was like, boy, Terence, you better be careful.
Leaning straight back.
Not only was he leaning straight back, but there were times when they would throw punches at the same time.
Yeah.
And Terence looked open, but he once again he adjusted and he fixed those problems.
Right.
And he didn't look vulnerable at all in the later rounds.
Right.
He like I said, he adjusts, and that's the mark of a special fighter, man.
It is.
So let's try to once again make sure we touch on everything. So congratulations to Gary Russell Jr. We're going to talk about Gary right now and Gervonta. I want to talk about what Mayweather had to say about Gervonta fighting against Lomachenko.
Right.
And also touch on Shannon Briggs.
Oh, man.
The bad news when it comes to Shannon Briggs. What you want to touch on right now, Milt?
Well, I'm going to go with Gary Russell. I'm going to go ahead and get into that one, man. I was impressed by Gary. He banged a little bit more than I thought he needed to.
Yeah.
I think he really could have gotten out of the way of a lot of those shots because Escandón really, man, was catching him with good, clean body shots, man.
Yeah.
Good, hard body shots. But that third round, knockdown? He caught my man, had him on Queer Street. And,
was it the third round?
And Escandón, he survived. But I think he stopped him in the 7th, wasn't it?
It was the 7th round. He stopped him in.
Yeah, and but I think that he was in there banging a lot more than he really needed to, and I just remembered something, man. When before they showed a flashback to where he was at the Leo Santa Cruz versus the Jackal Frampton fight, and he was like, these dudes, man, they just banging, man. They ain't really got no skill. And I think he really discounted, I think he is more skilled than either one of those guys.
Oh, no doubt. He's the best featherweight. I believe.
He is by far the best featherweight.
I don't see anybody beating him at 126.
No, but I won't say that Frampton has no skill because the way he countered.
Oh, Frampton has skill.
Yeah.
But to me, to me, Frampton is one of those type of almost a slick type of fighter with not the best defense.
Right.
Like Juan Manuel Marquez, and Juan is not slick, but he's a great counterpuncher with a horrible defense. Which is like an oxymoron almost, if you really think about it, because it's like usually anybody who is a good counterpuncher has great defense.
Right, and they don't get hit.
Yeah.
And they're countering you when you miss. But, yeah.
And Canelo is kind of a little bit like that. His defense is better than theirs.
Right.
But he's like that, He'll do all that slick stuff, moving his head. Then after he stops moving his head, he'll get hit with maybe 2 or 3.
Because even as bad as Chavez Jr. looked against him, he still got caught. He still got caught.
That's
quite a few times, yeah.
And that's why we don't want to get into that. But that's why when Chavez was letting his hands go, he was hitting them. Like, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
He was beautiful body punches. When he threw headshots, he was landing, but he was too afraid, man. He was too afraid to commit.
And then go throw $3 million up a hooker's ass.
Yeah.
I'm like, anyway.
That was, you know what?
Got trick rolled.
I was at the gym working out, and I just seen it pop up on the screen, but I wasn't listening. I see him laying in the bed with all these chicks. Were those prostitutes?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, them tricks.
Wow.
Yeah,
that is crazy. And he like damn near bragging about it.
But this is the thing, even if they stole this $3 million check, where they going to go cash it at? Ain't like they can go cash $3 million check. I used to work downtown. I know how that trick roll thing works. Hey, so If you come to Vegas, be careful, man.
Oh,
Pretty
yeah.
girl tell you if she look too good, too good, and you know you ain't pulling them like that, don't be coming out here, man, taking them to the room.
Or she's smiling at you, waving from across the bar.
Yeah.
And that's a dead giveaway.
Hey, man.
What Mike Epps say? Even Mike Epps was talking about it. He's like, you gotta be careful when you go to Vegas. You know. He said you walk up to a chick, she like, what you trying to do tonight? Like, what the hell you talking about? Oh man.
Anyway, man, back to Gary Russell. Gary, he's saying, because at the end, one thing, and I'll let y'all get in. At the end, the post fight, he was saying they were asking him about the Lomachenko fight, and he was like, am I hearing this correct? Do you want Lomachenko next, or? And he was like, no. He wants that fight later on down the line.
Yeah, that's what I was, and that's what we were going to talk about. Yeah, so that's what Mayweather basically said. So Mayweather, he said, there's no rush. He said basically Lomachenko is 30, so he has to rush. And they said that, we ain't ducking or dodging no one, but, we're not trying to rush into a Lomachenko fight. And that's pretty much, and I totally agree. I mean, that's something that could be built up as a huge fight, and there's no doubt about it. There's not going to be no tougher fight than Lomachenko for Gervonta.
For Gervonta and Gary Russell. Both of them are saying they want that fight, but they're trying to push it down the road just a little bit.
Yeah, Gary said he wanted towards the end of his career. Yeah. But at least with Gary, I kind of understand the plan of trying to unify belts at 126. If he were to move up to what is Loma now? 135 now?
No, 130.
Oh, he's 130.
He's talking about moving up to 135 for Mikey.
For Mikey. But yeah, I mean, there's no reason for Gary to skip. All these accolades and accomplishments that he could achieve at 126. Before and fight Lomachenko first,
right. And there are
especially
good
when
fights.
That's going to be, like you said, his toughest fight,
right? And there are good fights to be had at 126.
Yeah. Gary Russell versus Valdez, Jojo Diaz,
yeah, man.
Leo Santa Cruz if he takes the fight, which I don't think now he will. But Frampton. Yeah. I didn't even mention him. Yeah. Frampton ain't gonna fight. No. It's funny because when I interviewed Frampton, I asked him, and I give Carl Frampton credit for being honest because not too many fighters would be honest like that. But I said, who would you say would be the most difficult fight and who would you say is the most well-rounded fighter at 126? He said Gary Russell in a heartbeat. But in the same interview, he said he's not interested in fighting Gary Russell. How crazy is that, right? In the same interview.
I gotta give a man credit.
So man. He basically spelled it out.
Every man got to know his limitation.
Oh, okay. He spelled it out. He said that boy is problems. That's basically that was the translation. That boy is problems. Oh hell no.
So I mean, and as impressive as he looked, I'm still trying to figure out, man, how did Loma beat him so easily, man? That was like
Loma is a beast, man.
He's a beast, man. Loma, if anybody out there, man, discrediting that dude, man, stop doing that, man.
Listen, this is how he beat him. Get a man his credit. This is how he beat him, and I noticed the little adjustment Loma made early in the fight because the first round or the first two rounds, it started to look like Gary's speed was going to take over. Right. So how we were talking about speed earlier, now Gary really is a guy with unbelievable speed.
He is.
He like the Flash.
Yeah.
But anyway, he started to kind of early in the fight, Gary started to take control slightly with his speed. And at first, Loma was standing there. Like just standing there to see what he had or whatever. Right. He didn't know what to expect. So, Gary got off some flurries or whatever, and it looked like it was going to be a Gary Russell fight. All of a sudden, Lomachenko made an adjustment, and he started using angles. Oh, and he started doing that jump back. Yep. Where he would force. You're exactly right. He would force Gary Russell out of range. And that's how he took control. You don't want someone as talented as Lomachenko to have a height advantage over you, right? A reach advantage. I'm not sure what his reach is, but he definitely has a height advantage over Gary. Right. You don't want somebody that talented and gifted to have, any natural advantages over you. Right. And that's why it's going to be an uphill battle. But Gary, because Gary is so talented, I feel he can adjust like the best of them. So that rematch would be good, man. It would be good. It would be damn good. It's going to be hard for him to catch up with Loma because Loma's. I think Loma is the type of fighter also always looking to challenge himself.
Right.
Like that's why he's like, I want to move up to 135. I want to fight this guy. I want to fight that guy because he said I want to fight nothing but champions from this point on. He want to challenge himself, and that's good for the sport of boxing.
Right.
So I don't know if Gary's going to ever catch up with him when it comes to weight classes because he might be. Loma might be at 140 by the time Gary Russell even gets to 130.
That's true. That's true.
Know, so. But real quick,
does he want to make that happen? I mean,
you said, does Bob want to make that happen with the Gary Russell fight?
Right. So that's also
that's true.
a factor as well.
That is definitely a factor. I mean, Loma is going to fight Salido next now, which that's good for him to do that. But I wish it would have been a lot earlier because
now is that solidified? Is that
it's pretty much official.
It's pretty.
I think they're looking for a venue now. I think they may have already gotten it, but I'm not. But yeah, that's pretty much a done deal though. But Salido. Too many wars, though, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he's nowhere near the same. I think this time Loma, he'll close the deal and knock him out.
Yeah, probably.
He'll close the deal and knock him out.
And I'll say this too, because I was looking at Tank, and I'm like, that may be a good fight for Tank. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That may be a good head to put on the mantelpiece. You
talking about Tank against who?
Salido.
Oh yeah, that'd be a great fight.
And then it'd be like, it's a mutual opponent, but Salido ain't the same Salido that fought Loma a couple years back.
Or even Francisco Vargas would be a good fight.
Vargas, yes, man, yeah.
Those are all good fights, but Floyd Mayweather, man, Floyd is a genius, man, when it comes to marketing and promoting. I mean, hey Kirk, wasn't that a good look? He takes Gervonta over to the UK. Not only does he take him over there, but he promotes the fight like when he was fighting against Ricky Hatton. Did you notice that, Kirk?
Oh yeah, he destroyed Walsh and his entire crew.
Yeah.
Brothers, he destroyed them. Mm-hmm. And shout out to Tank for coming out to the Michael Jackson Beat It with the jacket and everything.
Oh man, I missed that.
Classic ring walk, bro. Yeah, it was, man. Yeah, man. He got the fedora on. He got the leather jacket with some.
Gervonta had that on.
Yeah, it ain't got the zippers on it, but it got some.
Oh, that's dope.
He got some stuff going across the front. And Floyd got on a leather jacket with spikes and
that's dope. And they know that's how you're supposed to do it when you go to the UK.
Oh yeah, man.
You come over there like American superstars, iconic superstars.
I was tripping with my boy. I was tripping with my boy Seals yesterday because I was telling him, I was watching the Anthony Yard fight, and he coming out.
Shouts out to my man Anthony Yard.
Shout out to Anthony Yard, man.
Vicious knockout. I'm gonna be hollering.
He dropped the man 6 times in 4 rounds, and I'm talking about. I think 5 of those were on body shots.
Man,
he was dropping the man with that right to the body. Then he hit him on the liver at the end of 1 round, man. I didn't think dude was going to survive.
Anthony is a beast.
He is a beast, man. And then I just found out, man, he's going to be fighting on the, I want to say on the, oh man, what is that? The Kazise undercard.
Oh, Andy Lee. Billy Joe Saunders.
I want to say it's on that one. What is it? July 19th, I think it is,
or 13th, or something. It's July something. It's July something.
I think he's on that undercard, and I think they just put that together, and he'll be fighting for it's a European title, I want to say, at 175.
And I'm telling you guys, I'm telling you right now, excuse me, I'm telling you right now, Anthony Yard is going to be a big damn deal.
He is, man.
And about the next year, they're going to be most likely treating this man like Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
In the next year. This man is a light heavyweight. He looks like a heavyweight.
He does.
Fights like a welterweight. Has power like a heavyweight.
Yeah.
Hand
speed.
Slick is all get out.
Slick as okra.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he is, man.
And so congrats to him. He got a nice knockout, like Milton just said. And by the way, guys, I'm going to be out in the UK. I'm flying out on Tuesday, so I'm going to be hanging out with my man Anthony Yard and going to be covering that Errol Spence fight, which we got to do those difficult predictions before we end this show as well, man. How difficult is that going to be, man? So, no, go ahead.
But I will say for Tank, I thought it was going to be a little bit better competition. I didn't think it was a straight up showcase fight for Tank, on his first title defense.
Tank is on another level.
He's on another level, though.
He's on another level. What he did to Pedraza,
yeah,
and what Pedraza did to Tevin Farmer, I mean, that's impressive, man.
Yeah, they're
That's
still
really
talking about
impressive.
trying to put that farmer fight together.
Yeah,
That's buzz.
Gervonta hasn't said. Has seen Gervonta said anything about it yet? Because I know Tevin.
They were barking at each other.
Oh, I know. But it was initiated by Tevin.
What you got, Kirk?
I think Floyd recently said that Tevin Farmer needs to get a belt first.
Oh, that's not what he said. He needed to get a belt first.
I heard that he reiterated that yesterday.
Oh, okay.
I'm glad you cleared that up.
Thanks for clearing that up, brother.
Yeah, because I didn't know. I mean, because he been hungry. You know, he been thirsty is the word I should use. You know, he's been thirsty for some Gervonta Tank Davis. But credit to Tevin, man, for wanting to get in there and having the confidence to fight the best like that. You know what I mean? Because once again, we don't have a lot of fighters. You see the most dangerous dude in your division, and you're like, that's the dude I want.
Hey, Tevin been out there like,
huh? What'd you say, Kurt?
Tank is a very special fighter. Like
he is. He is.
Watching him yesterday, I mean, his speed, his reaction time. He actually fainted, and there's not too many young fighters that actually faint nowadays.
He has picked up a couple more things from Floyd too that I noticed.
Yeah,
he punched down on the with the left and came back over the top with that same punch. I was like, man, it's a couple of things that I saw him doing yesterday, man. I'm like, yeah, Floyd putting a little bit of an imprint on this kid too. With the talent he already has.
The talent he already has.
It's ridiculous.
Like you just said, Kirk, his reaction time, his feints, I mean, his jab. I mean, everything that he throws is like, it's on point.
Yeah.
It's on point. And to have it's like, you know, he's reminiscent of Floyd Mayweather, a southpaw Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
But he punches like Mike Tyson. And he grimaces like Mike Tyson.
I know, man.
When he's letting them bombs go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a dangerous combination there, man. That's a dangerous. That's why he didn't have no problem calling out Broner. You know what I mean? I know we jump in left field, but that's why he didn't have a problem calling out Broner, man.
Man, what is Broner gonna do, man? He's stuck.
Well, Broner clowned Rances Bartholomew. Broner, he said that Rances. He said something. I'm paraphrasing, but he basically called Rances garbage after that performance.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he tweeted or something like that and said something about Rances. So, are we gonna get Rances versus Broner? They both with PBC. Right?
Oh, yeah.
They both with PBC.
They are.
That would be a good ass fight.
That would be a good ass fight.
Yeah, man. So who knows, man? Like you said, what is Broner going to do?
You know what, man?
He likes to stay busy too. Broner likes to stay busy too.
If that fight goes down, I don't know. I think I may take Bartholomew on that fight.
Bartholomew?
I think
I would take Bartholomew too.
What's up, Kirk?
I would say Broner might fuck around and lose.
Yeah. Oh, hey, man.
I'm serious, man.
I'm just this is what we do. We analyze boxing. I mean, I think Bartholomew will win that fight.
I think he does too.
Yeah.
I think he does too.
I mean, Broner. I don't know if it's a consistency problem, or I don't know what it is, or he just ain't the same since the Maidana fight.
To me, it's a lack of focus. Boxing is 80% skill and 80% mental and 20% skill.
Yeah.
You know, your mind has got to be sharp in there, man. You got to be focused on boxing. You can't be focused on court cases and staying out of jail. You can't be forced
dodging bullets.
Dodging bullets and child support payments.
Might want to look at that man too.
Yeah.
You might want to make sure he looks at that man. Look at Broner as an example and do the opposite.
Oh yeah. yeah, exactly.
Don't end up being a cautionary tale, man.
Yeah, because Baltimore, right? DC, Baltimore.
No joke.
That's no damn joke.
No, it's not.
That's no joke, man. I mean, you talking about some real killers out there.
Yeah, man.
You know. You mess around, get killed over a pack of corn nuts. You know what I mean?
And oddly enough, he's in the same position Broner was in 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. He's in the same position. You're right, Kirk. I really hope he learns from Broner's mistakes and he doesn't go down that line.
Yeah.
And maybe it is a good idea for him to move out here to Las Vegas and get away from all the distractions. I understand where Gervonta was coming from, he didn't want to leave his trainer back because, his trainer has been training him since day one. Mm-hmm. That I understand.
And he's like a father figure to him.
Shout out to Coach Calvin.
Definitely, man.
Yeah, Coach Calvin is a cool dude, man. Yeah. Great trainer too, man. So and we got to start giving these trainers more credit.
We do
for training these fighters from the ground up.
Yeah, that's true, man.
Instead of waiting for them to
get with the big
become
name
champions and you get all the credit for someone who was already champion before you met, you trained them. So yeah, Calvin, shouts out to him, man.
Yeah, man.
And shouts out to Truck Simpson, man. Truck Simpson, which is the other Gervonta Tank Davis. You guys gonna be hearing a lot about. He's in my documentary, and and once again, man, we still working on it. It's slow motion, y'all. But it doesn't matter. It's going to come out.
Slow motion better than no motion.
Better than no motion.
Hey,
regardless, it's going to be out. And y'all going to see Truck Simpson. They call him Gervonta's little brother. He's an animal. Go ahead.
While we were on trainers, and I was thinking about yesterday in Bud Crawford's corner, he had, 2 trainers. He had his, what's my man, big man, normally trains him. And then he had
Bo Mack.
Bo Mack. And
his head trainer.
Yeah, but he had another guy in his corner giving instruction yesterday, and I just thought that was odd. I hadn't seen.
I didn't even pay attention to that.
Yeah,
I didn't even pay attention to that.
Latino brother.
Hispanic cat, right?
Yeah, Hispanic Latino brother, and I hadn't seen that before. And but it seemed like they were working well together. You know what I mean? I don't know if he was adding another wrinkle to the game or whatever, but I just normally when you see, a trainer come up with a fighter for as long as they've been together, I haven't seen it didn't seem like no animosity like when with Sergey Kovalev when he had
his Jackson,
John David Jackson was just sitting there giving him water, while the Russian dude was giving him instructions. I'm like, what is going on with that, man?
What's going on with that? And it'll be interesting to see how the corner looks in the rematch.
I'm very intrigued to see that, man. That's very intriguing.
Yeah.
But the Crawford thing, that dude's been there, I think, from the beginning.
Has he? The Latino brother?
Yeah, because I believe on one of McIntyre's interviews from a couple years back, he mentioned that. I can't think of the guy's name right now, but he said it's pretty much always been a team of coaches that have helped with coaching and training.
I just never noticed him before, man. I always noticed Bomac with him in the corner. I don't know, it just seemed like he had more of a prominent role yesterday. I've never seen that.
Terence Crawford and Bomac, they are extremely close. Bomac been once again just like Calvin. He's been training Terence since he was a kid, so that ain't gonna never break up. I don't see any type of tension between them or anything like that.
No,
and there's no adjustments that needs to be made. It's not like he just got his ass beat or had a close fight and almost lost or did lose. So it's probably just people close to the team. I
just wonder sometimes. I see a lot of people improve after they move out here to Las Vegas. And I'm just wondering how does Bud stay sharp out there in Omaha, because I know that the level of competition can't be that deep, and you can't get those sparring sessions all the time. But on that level, and he does go to Big Bear too. Yeah, that's true.
They fly him out too. He sparred with Shakur Stevenson.
That's true.
He sparred with he was sparring with all the young animals.
Yeah.
So on that level, they fly him out. They'll fly somebody out from the Philippines.
Would you say on that level, right? Yeah, that's true.
So, but that's what that is. What do you say, Kurt?
He's supposed to be fighting again real soon too.
Who, Terence or Shakur?
Yeah, that's both of them actually.
Oh, probably on the same card. And congratulations to Shakur Stevenson.
Yeah,
man.
First round knockout.
He got exactly what he wanted, and he looked the exact way we would expect him to look.
Right.
He looked reminiscent of a pretty boy, Andre Ward, when they first was coming up.
Yeah.
Because I was there covering his debut fight. And I attribute that mainly to he was fighting against an ugly fighter.
Yeah.
A dude who just want to fall into clinches and come in with his head and just it was all sloppy and everything. And
he intended to do that too.
Yeah, he made it an ugly fight, and he robbed Shakur Stevenson.
He got
of a great performance.
He got Salito'd.
Yeah, he got Salito. Or who else? I could think of someone worse than Salito. Yeah, but okay.
Just make it ugly. We just gonna make it ugly and let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah, exactly, man. So, but this performance, he came out super sharp shooting. Knocked him out in the first round. That's exactly what Shakur wanted to get, and he got it. So, congrats to him on that, man.
Yeah, definitely.
So, hey, the last thing on the list, guys, and we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Unless you guys got something else on your mind, is I wanted to talk about this Shannon Briggs failing his PED test for this Frez Kendall fight. Kirk, man, I mean, is this it for Shannon? What's your reaction to him failing this test?
Damn, let's go, champ. Man. I got a text from one of my boys about this morning, and that shit hurt my heart, man.
Yeah,
that's sad. I want to find out more details before I really get into it. But I was sad hearing that because
I was too.
I'm
extremely disappointed, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm sorely disappointed because he has been clamoring for this opportunity. He's been embarrassing people, following them around. He's been doing everything that he could to promote himself and make it happen for him. And now you get this opportunity and you squander it like this. You squander
it right before he finally lands the big payday he's been chasing for the last year or whatever, right? So it's unfortunate, and Shannon hasn't really come out and said anything about it. But even when we do hear people in this situation say something about it, they usually say the cliche stuff. I maybe I ate some meat that I didn't know about, or somebody slipped me some foul steak. They usually say something like that.
Yeah, I know,
no one ever comes out and says, yeah, I screwed up.
No,
I learned from my mistake. I shouldn't have did that. I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
Levels of testosterone.
Excessive.
You don't just stumble upon
drastic levels.
Drastic. Yeah. Let me tell you though, man. Let me tell you this. And that's the reason I was joking, but I wasn't joking about people being over 40 trying to fight, man. Well, let me tell you something. Your body takes a drastic change, and I'm looking at Shannon, and he is 45, 46 years old. And looking at how this dude's physique at that age, I'm like, man, it's got to be, and I'm like, man, I don't know. I'm just looking at him. The muscle is so thick. If he was slimmed down, if he had trimmed down and was still kind of had some good muscle tone to him, it wouldn't be so. But man, he is thick as hell, man.
Almost looks animated.
It does, man. It does, and it was highly, I mean. I had suspicions a few years back anyway, but now it's kind of like, man, looking at it, and I hate being one of them cats, man, to be like, ooh, that dude juicing. I would never call nobody out. I'd never say that publicly, but it kind of confirmed exactly what I was saying.
Unfortunately.
I
mean, because you just would think some of these cats would be so smart, because you would think they would be like, you know what, I'm already big.
Yeah.
This already looks suspicious. Let me go ahead and make sure,
Yeah, I know, right?
I cover my...
I can't overdo it.
Yeah. or whatever, man. I mean,
but I got a word for him. Don't do it.
That's what I'm saying.
Don't do it, man.
You can't be
do it, clean,
period.
Man. Come on, man. If you're juicing, man, cut that shit out.
Yeah, man.
Stop it, man. That's ridiculous.
So it's really unfortunate.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, they still talking about the fight, mate. They don't know if the fight is going to happen. I don't think.
I've read reports that it was canceled, but then and I don't know what. I wasn't checking timestamps on the articles, but I have read that it has been called off.
Oh, you did read that?
Yeah, I have read that.
The last thing I read was just that he failed the test and it may be canceled. But yeah, that makes sense that
I've heard that it has been called off.
Yeah, man, that's a bummer, man.
It is.
Let's go ahead and close out with predictions, because we'll be back, guys, next Monday. And I just wanted to let you guys know, guys, we're gonna shorten up the show just for a couple weeks, and we're gonna do a couple pre-recorded shows. Okay, so we're not gonna take calls just for a couple shows, and then we'll be back to taking calls in a couple shows. But next week, because I'm flying out to the UK, I return Sunday. Hopefully, I'm not too drained, to do the show on Monday. If not Monday, we'll do it Tuesday. If I'm still asleep, all Monday.
Jet lag, man.
Yeah, man. So we'll do the show next Monday. But since we ain't gonna be talking milk till next week, man, unbelievable fight this weekend coming up, man.
This is for welterweight supremacy right here.
I agree.
I think that whoever wins this fight is the man at 147 pounds. I hate saying that, man, and people think I'm disrespecting Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman's name he's a young lion, and he's definitely in the mix. But there can only be one king, and I'm telling you, man, whoever emerges or when the dust settles after this weekend, and I think it's going to be Errol Spence Jr. I've been big on him, and I know people think we nut hug or we riding, but I'm just calling it like I see it. I've been watching the kid since he was about 5 or 6 fights in, and was impressed by his mental toughness, his ability to think his way through an opponent and break an opponent down. I just do not see Kell Brook having what it takes to stop him and keep him off of him. And I do believe he wins by knockout.
Yeah, and it's not a coincidence. Like I said, it's unfair that if you say Brook wins, you're normal.
You're normal, right?
But if you say that Spence wins, you're nut hugging, you're riding, and all of this. How does that work?
I don't understand, man. But they don't see a double standard in that.
No, they don't. I mean, because I could use a real gay analogy, but I'm gonna leave it at that. You kind of get the point. You basically, never mind. Anyway, the professional boxers. The professional trainers, this is not coincidence. This is not coincidental that they're all predicting not just a win, but a knockout.
Yeah.
How often do you see that? And it sounds ridiculous, Kirk, when we hear people say stuff, oh, you Yanks out there, of course you Yanks are gonna say that. Teddy Atlas, Abel Sanchez, Abel is actually picking Brook. But everyone else, Hasim Rockman, 99% of all the professional boxers and trainers are picking Errol Spence. So my thing is, when you say, oh, you guys are just saying that because you guys are American, that's not true, because all the Americans, the same Americans that's picking Spence to beat Brook are the same Americans that picked Golovkin to beat Jacobs. So how do you explain that?
I know.
How do you explain that? They all picked Golovkin. They all picked Pacquiao to beat Bradley. So you can't sit over here and say, oh, you Americans. No, you the one thinking of it in that, emotional fashion where you're looking at things based on region. You know what I mean? They're the ones that's looking at it that way. And so that's why, I really, I'm looking forward to asking, UK professional boxers, not just fans that are there at the fight, but UK professional boxers, people like Naseem Hamed and Ricky Hatton and people like that. I would love to get their take on this fight because, man, once again, we just trying to break down.
Who was that stopped Naseem Hamed?
Stop Naseem Hamed?
Yeah.
Nobody stopped Naseem. Nobody ever stopped Naseem.
Who beat him?
Marco Antonio Barrera, your boy. That's why you said that, huh?
I meant stop the
with
street.
With that nice shirt you got on today. Huh?
Shout out to the babyface assassin.
Yes, sir.
One of my favorites, man. One of the greatest of all time, man.
Nice shirt, man. Nice
I
shirt.
appreciate that.
Yeah, man. But that was a nice little plug right there.
Yeah, I know, right?
That was a nice little plug. So
one of my favorites, man.
So Kirk, man, you sure you don't want to change your mind and go with Brook, man, or what, man?
No disrespect to Brook because he's a champion. No disrespect to the UK, but he's going to sleep.
There it goes.
He's going to sleep.
And no NyQuil needed.
Bro, that was kind of disrespectful.
Yeah, man. You will never be invited to the UK again.
Never.
Bro, no, you know what? I think it'll actually be a competitive fight. It'll be a really good fight. The energy is going to be great.
Yeah.
But Errol Spence is a little bit too much, in my opinion. I think he's gonna break him down like round after round after round.
Yes.
And towards 8, 9, round 10,
8 to 10.
I think he's going to sleep.
Those are numbers. 8 to 10, man.
8 to 10.
8 to 10. Once again, man. The difference from Errol Spence and everyone else is he figures out the way to close the deal. Even when he's in there against top level opposition. And I think we're going to see this in this fight. Once again, man, I see him walking down Kell Brook. I think Kell Brook will be trying to tie him up. It's not going to work. It's going to be impossible for Kell Brook to block all those body shots and head shots. I think the southpaw stance is going to give Kell Brook problems. I mean, it's an uphill battle for Kell Brook, and I feel
it really is.
And I truly feel that Errol Spence is going to do better than Golovkin did against Kell Brook.
Right.
I feel that he's not going to look vulnerable like Golovkin looked. I feel there's not going to be a need for any ridiculous fans to say, "Oh, Errol was letting Kell kick his ass for 3-4 rounds, so he could give the fans what they wanted." Saying that stupid stuff. It ain't going to be none of that. And
it's not going to be clinching like he did with Sean Porter. Because
he's going to try, but I don't think he's going to be effective.
Let me tell you, them body shots from. Let me tell you. Yeah. If he tries to clinch, I'm telling you,
Errol is taller than him too.
Yeah, and he is going to wear him out on the body.
Yeah, it's going to be like Vladimir trying to clinch with Anthony Joshua. He wasn't effective.
Wasn't effective.
He couldn't clinch. And that was one of his main game plans.
It was.
That was one of his best weapons, I should say.
Right.
Is jab and grab.
And that's exactly the way he beat Showtime. Sean Porter.
Oh, absolutely.
It was the jab and grab.
Jab and grab.
Jab and grab. And he is not going to be able to do that to Errol Spence. And then another thing for me, a lot of people, he has names. He has a couple of names on his resume. Brook does. And Spence doesn't have names on his resume, but he has some very solid competition. And the level of competition that Brook has beaten, I think, does not match up well with what Spence has beaten. And a lot of people think I'm just talking about, about Algieri and Bandu. But let me tell you, man, he has beaten some very tough competitors on the way up, man.
And it's not even that though, Milt.
And it's the way he's beaten them. What's that?
I was gonna say I can guarantee you he doesn't have any opponents with more than 80 losses on their record.
Yeah,
I guarantee you that.
189. Try 189 losses.
And he fought one guy 3 times that had a ridiculous record.
Kell Brook fought somebody 3 times?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, get that box Rick.
I did not know that. that see, and while you looking that up, and see, and this is the thing, Milton Kirk. If you really know boxing, you shouldn't have to wait until a fighter fights some big name, then until you can then say, see, he's a good fighter. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you really know boxing, you should be able to point this shit out before, they already prove it to the world. Like I said before, and I'll keep saying it, when basketball, football scouts, when they go out, they have to scout the talent out before they become great. Before they become the Jordans and the LeBron James and all that kind of stuff, right? So, it's the same thing with boxing. So when you hear these fans say stupid stuff like, oh, he hasn't even fought anybody. But every great fighter was in that position. When Ali, when he fought Sonny Liston, before Ali fought Sonny Liston, he had never fought anyone. Before Floyd Mayweather fought Janelle Hernandez, he had never fought anyone. You always going to make that transition from fighting tomato cans to fighting top opposition, so we're going to see though, man. All the talk is going to be done, next Saturday. So it should be a great fight. And I agree with the panel. I see Errol Spence stopping him 8-10. One thing I will say though is I think Brook's right hand.
Funny, man.
I think Brook's right hand is going to be really dangerous.
I thought he fought this guy Ernie Smith 3 times, but he fought him. Let me see. He's 11-80, and then there it is. Ernie Smith again. He was 12-85, and then Ernie Smith again.
12-85.
He was 13-97.
You gotta be kidding.
No, I'm not.
Hold up. Let me see this. Let me see this.
Ernie Smith right here. He was 11-80 when he caught him, and then up here he got.
And his record was. You said his record was what?
The first time he fought him, the cat was 11-80. Then he fought him again right here. He's 12-85. Then he fought him again. He was 13-97. So he fought this dude 3 times.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He got a cat on here
Wow.
3-26.
That is.
Then the next guy is 2-16. Then
That's
a man
a story.
11-58. Then he fought a cat 2-9, a cat 8-12. Then he kind of moved up a little bit, 15-1, 26-5.
Yeah, it's crazy, man, because it's so many things to see when it comes to looking at his record. You know what I mean?
So it's
so many factors in there, and the crazy thing is that we were just looking at the 180, the dude who had 189 losses, and then we seen a couple. But you just mentioned some more stuff. Why would you fight a guy? Why would you fight a guy with over 80 losses more than once? Why would you fight him at all? But why would you fight him 3 times, though?
3 times, bro.
That's insane.
3 times.
That's insane.
3 times.
That's how.
And then his mandatories after he won the title, man, that was that was not stiff competition.
Oh man,
that was not stiff competition.
I mean, I gotta give credit to Kell that you fought that competition, that opposition, or I won't even call it opposition. There was no opposition. But you fighting that level of competition, right?
Right.
And you got to give him credit for beating Sean Porter. Yeah, I give him that credit. But then
give him that credit, man.
But it's just crazy. It's like you're that good. Didn't he go to the Olympics?
Did
Kell go
I
to the
can't say.
Olympics?
I don't know. And I should know that, and I apologize. I don't, but I don't know.
Yeah, we in the same boat. What'd you say, Kirk?
Well, the thing, I mean, Kell Brook is a really good fighter. It's just that it's a shame when you see guys that are so talented and they're not testing themselves consistently.
Absolutely, absolutely.
My same criticism of Golovkin. I mean, you're 35 and you're 34, 35, and you're really now starting to fight guys who are top level opposition. You should have been doing.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'll say this: they all can't be barn burners. I understand you don't have to go out there and do, top 1 through 3 every time you step in the ring. I understand it ain't gonna be that level of competition because sometimes you got to throw in a guy that's gonna keep you sharp but not gonna hurt you, so you can kind of prolong your career a little bit. If a manager and promoter are working it right, they keep the fighter sharp.
But you mix it up though.
You mix it up because only iron sharpens iron.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna wood can't sharpen iron. You're not gonna go out there and get soft competition and strengthen yourself in the ring and know how to push you to your limits by fighting soft competition. And if you're not willing to go out there and challenge yourself, I mean, I give it to Brook. Even though I really don't think he really wanted this fight, I commend him for stepping in the ring. I won't call anybody a bum or
no doubt.
And if he pulls off this upset, because this will be an upset. It's possible. It's always possible. The man can punch. I saw him hit Golovkin with some hard shots. If he catch Errol with some of those hard shots, it could be a different story. But I don't think that's going to happen. And I just really believe that Errol is too talented, too gifted.
And with that being said, I will say that his right hand is going to be dangerous. Probably real dangerous in the first 3 rounds. Kell Brook's right hand is probably going to be real dangerous, especially with Errol Spence being a southpaw. That's the punch you're supposed to obviously throw against a southpaw. So it'll be interesting. I see Kell Brook trying to keep the distance, trying to maybe throw some jabs, Floyd Mayweather style, trying to throw jabs to the solar plexus,
right,
and then try to come up top with a quick right hand. But I think after about 2 or 3 rounds, he's going to nullify. Errol Spence is going to nullify that right hand.
I think so too,
and close the distance, and then it's going to be all downhill from that point on. So, hey man, we're gonna go and wrap it up. I'm gonna let Milton close out. Once again, want to say thanks once again to the panel, my man Kirk Jackson. Anything else you got to say before we wrap it up, Kirk?
Yeah, shout out to Gary Russell and his family for rocking the dashikis this weekend.
And the whole family we didn't even give shouts out to Gary Antonio, Gary Antoine Russell. Gary, it was good to see Gary Antoine get a sensational knockout. They robbed him bad in the Olympics, man.
Yeah, they did.
He beat that fighter clearly. And it's crazy because in the first round he didn't look that good, and then he stepped up in competition in the Olympics, and that's when they robbed him, when he got a clear win. So, yeah, just to add on to what you just said. Anything else, Kirk?
Yeah, no, just shout out to them for representing black people.
Absolutely. All day. All day. It's always nice to do that, And Go ahead, Milt.
Yeah, I just wanted to. I don't have a long list this week. It's just we're closely approaching June 17th, and y'all know that's going to be the rematch with Andre Ward, Sergey Kovalev.
Coming fast.
It's coming fast, and Guillermo Rigondeaux fights that night too. But also on June 3rd, that's right around the corner, Donna Stevenson, Fanfara rematch. Mm-hmm. And then Eleider Alvarez versus Jean Pascal. Mm-hmm. They put that one on that undercard. I think Dylan White is hurt. I think he was supposed to fight a 12-rounder in London on the 3rd as well. But I believe I have to look into that. But I think I heard somewhere that Dylan White may have injured himself.
Oh yeah.
So he may be pulled out of that fight. Okay. Suppose they've gotten Frezza Kendo and Shannon Briggs, but we know what happened.
Yeah.
Disappointed me, champ. Disappointed me, brother.
Yeah, man.
And that's all I have. I just want to give best wishes to the American fighter Errol Spence. I'm pulling for the home team. Normally I'm not a fan, but I will admit I'm a fan this week. But I'm calling it like I said. If I thought he was going to lose, I wouldn't be.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't. I put money on it. I put like this. Sometimes I'll bet with my. I go. I pull with my heart, but I'll put my money with my head. But this time, head and heart fall in line. I'm putting money on Errol Spence to bring that title home, man. Do your thing over there, young lion.
That's what it is, y'all. And with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. So we will see you guys after this big fight. We'll be doing the show once again next Monday. But we're still going to be doing the show on Sundays. We're only doing it on Monday because I'm going to be out of town. All right, y'all? So we see you guys next week. You know what it is, y'all. It's the nation, baby. Deuces.